Welcome to the Million Vegan Grandmothers podcast. Today I meet with my dear friend Tami Hay. She's also the initiator of the first International Calf and Cow Mothers Day, and it has been just such an honor and a pleasure working with her. Tami contacted me in January about this project, and we have been working very tight ever since. Thank you so much for being here, Tami, with me today.
Oh, it's been a dream, Anne. It's been a really full-on dream, but a realized dream. That one day all the mothers of all species will be free and
Yeah.
honored. And what a better way to do it when we're celebrating the mothers of the humans and just
Mm,
widening that circle. It's just an
mm.
honor to be able to be that for the animals.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's so beautiful and it's so profound, I feel. And I feel in many ways we are really at a crossroad. And I think more and more people are realizing the cruelties in the dairy industry. And still, there's a lot of advocacy needed and a lot of information and so on. And I feel this project is just so beautiful because we are really reaching out to people in a very beautiful way. And it's also like both of you and I know had this experience of talking about motherhood. It's really a very beautiful way to reach out. And I think many people feel very touched when they realize how today in the system of animal agriculture, this bond is just totally destroyed, not occasionally, but on a regular basis. The whole animal agriculture and the dairy industry is built upon it, right?
Yeah, and I've been really contemplating on this a lot over the last year since this vision came forward about how much I enjoyed nursing my babies, how much of a bond that was for me and them, and how feeling like I was giving them the best start in life. And then taking it and imagining these other mothers that are so sentient, like a cow, and having her baby taken away from her every time she gives birth, and what that must be like. And making that connection has really helped bridge the gap for me between myself and the animal kingdom. I sometimes feel I can be very close, but we can only be so close, if we're not really living it. If we're not on a dairy farm, if we're not on a sanctuary, if we're not close to the cows. So there was one thing I actually didn't know because I hadn't dove this deep into investigating, but I didn't know that cows cry so much. And when you often look at the cows and the calves in the dairy industry, they often have tear stained faces. They literally cry tears frequently because they're in constant grief and mourning. And that I can't tell you, Anne. It makes me cry just thinking about it, but I can't tell you how deeply that hit me. That these mothers are crying for their babies. It was like, oh, I don't know, it really highlighted the sentient energy of these beings because so many people that are raised on dairy farms and farms, period, and they have to justify taking the babies away. They tell the children that they're bad mothers and that they are stupid. How often have you heard that a cow is quite stupid? They're not very intelligent beings, and they're so intelligent. So I think that the more we know, the better we can choose for all life. Yeah, I just really feel that.
Yeah. And thank you for bringing this up as well with the narrative of the industry, like cows are bad mothers and all this, because it's really the opposite. And the more we see and the more we understand, we just see how much love these animals have. And I mean, just imagine these loving animals being abused in this cruel way, and still they are so kind. I mean, even if they are super strong, a cow could easily kill a human being, but still they are so kind and so intelligent. And I just feel that really is heartbreaking for me to how we are using these kind, sentient, precious beings in this awful way, and that we are the ones who need to speak up, because we need really to be their voices in this to make it stop. Mm.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what we're doing with the very first
Yeah,
International Calf and Cow Mother's Day.
we are. And I would just would you like to just tell our listeners a little bit more about how they can be a part of this wonderful project that we are working on?
Well, this interview will be coming out just before International Calf and Cow Mother's Day in North America, which is May 9th and 10th. We have a website, calfandcow.org, and the very homepage, you'll see Join the Movement, and you can submit an event. This isn't going to stop with this weekend. This is just the beginning because every day is Mother's Day. A mother
Mm.
does not get a break. Every day is Mother's Day. And we'll be launching a huge Grandmother's Day when grandmothers are celebrated in January. And because, we're mothers twice then. I was just with my granddaughter yesterday and we're mothers twice. So you can go on. You could also submit an art project. This is a community website. So you could submit your community so we can highlight your community if you're working with protecting the mothers and babies. You can submit some beautiful art, whether it's a song or a video, whether it's a poem or an article, anything. It's a community art site. It's also a place for us to highlight what you're hosting, and it doesn't have to stop with Mother's Day weekend. What you're hosting any time of the year. We're just heading out from Mother's Day weekend into what's called the Compassion Games. And the Compassion Games are going to be 99 days from the summer solstice until the uh, fall equinox. So we're going to start for a few days, the 11 days before, launching it out, and then right through to from summer to autumn. And there's a whole bunch of communities joining. And I feel this is the first time that so many of the organizers have said killing is killing is killing, and really looking at the dairy industry when it comes to this, because a lot of people that are vegetarian think that the dairy industry is pretty benign, that they're not contributing to killing, and they are. The calves are all killed, the mothers are abused horrifically, and it's the worst industry. Some people that have a couple chickens running around their backyards do not know what they're contributing to. I was talking to somebody yesterday who, really feels that's a very ethical thing. Have a couple chickens running around that gives them eggs. But they don't understand that at that moment, there's thousands of male chicks going down a conveyor belt to be ground alive, little babies of these mothers, because they're of no use. They're of no use to the industry. So they're hatched and then they're mostly killed. They're of no use. That's what we contribute to. So it's bringing this awareness so we can make other decisions, because the good news is plant-based food is so healthy and so delicious. Anne and I are both going to be serving some amazing plant-based cheese over the weekend. I'm going to make some new recipes with cashews and hemp hearts, and I'm making this dill pickle cashew cheese today, and then I'm going to start fermenting it, and I'm going to develop a whole bunch more recipes because of it. And it can be really joyful to make food and eat in a way that loves us back and loves other beings, you know? My spiritual teacher used to say to me, nothing tastes as good as feeling good feels, and only eat food that loves you and the animals back. And it's such words to live by.
Yeah, it's so beautiful and so true. Wow.
Hmm.
Everyone is welcome into our project, of course, even if you're not a grandmother or a mother. But and also, this is the first international Calf and Cow Mother's Day, but we are planning many, many ahead, right? Would you like to tell us a little bit about the plans ahead and how our movement will grow?
Yeah. Well, we had this vision a year ago and we started writing some newsletters about it and talking about it, but nothing really got off the ground until the second or third week of January. So this has all transpired since then. And now, if you're listening to this podcast at a later date, we are at the 6th of May in 2026. So within a very short period of time, we've brought this forth. And we're really excited to see who's going to be taking part in the next year into bringing awareness to the mothers and babies of all species. So this is truly a campaign about protecting the mothers and babies of all species and their homes. That was the original grandmother's pledge, to protect the grandchildren of all species and their homes. So this is one of the projects that is bringing that forward. This is going to be our main project for a few years, and it truly is about sacred relationships. It's about sacred relationships so that no one is excluded from sacred relationships, not the animals, not the earth, not ourselves either. You know, when we're liberating the animals, we're also liberating ourselves, even when we don't know it. And so, some of the stuff coming forward, we just invite everyone to keep thinking about how you can bring awareness and support and do work around the mothers and babies of other species. We have two new projects going on right now. One of them is to support someone else in the Compassion Games, Father Sheen, and he's doing pollinators in the pollinator garden. So I just finished a song for the pollinators called Pollinator Heaven, and we're going to do a video and we're going to have that ready before the solstice. And the other one is What Wings Are For. And we're going to bring awareness to what wings are really for. You know, you drive around all over, you see, oh, chicken wings, you know, this big fun bar food. And but what wings are really for is for freedom. What wings are really for is to gather the young under to protect them. These great big wings, often you'll see the little chicks underneath so that they could protect them and bring them in close and keep them warm. That's what wings are really for. And that's another video that we're going to have finished by the 1st of June.
Yeah. Tami, it's so beautiful to work with you and to work for animal liberation together with such a beautiful soul as you. And I just feel so happy. And it's really, yeah, it's really touching my heart because, you know, working against dairy and speaking up for all sentient beings is just, I couldn't find anything more meaningful. So this project really is so wonderful. And I just hope as many as possible will join us. And I think this is really a platform in the new era. You know, this is really, yeah, I really feel that we are on the right side of history in this initiative.
Oh,
Mm.
we sure are, Anne. And you know, you and I met a few years ago, and when the Million Vegan Grandmothers came forth, I think it was in 2022. And we just had this beautiful, sacred spiritual connection. You know, when you meet a friend, it's like, oh, I've known you in many lifetimes. We are soul sisters. We are so old together. You know, you just know that. I knew that when my granddaughter was born. She looked in my eyes, and we know, she told me that we've been together for a very long time and we would be together for another 1,000 years. So, not to worry about it. And
Mm.
sometimes you just have these beautiful connections, and that is one of them. And there were many times in these last few months when I needed a sounding board, when we were keeping each other excited, when we were sharing ideas. And it has been such a gift working with you. I feel like we really trailheaded this vision and had each other to really lean into. And so thank you for this friendship,
Mm.
because I feel that that's what this is about, is the compassion we're bringing to ourselves, is allowing ourselves to live deeper in love and find our people. And you're my people. Thanks, Anne.
Yeah, thank you. I likewise. You are really, we're really, you know, such a dear friend. And I often think about it. You're in Canada, I'm in Sweden, but you know, it's like just knowing that you are there just makes me really happy. And I feel we are also in a stage in the world that, you know, true friendship and our soul sisters and brothers, we really need each other in this very crucial time and together work for a better world, you know, in any way we can. And it's so beautiful too. Thank you,
Yeah.
Tami. Mm.
Thank you, Anne.
So yeah.
One of the things that you and I have been doing a lot of is podcasts, and I'd like to give a little shout out to Aruna, who's edited a lot of our podcasts. She's in India, so we're kind of all over the place. It's beautiful, and how we're all working together. But a little shout out to Aruna for the great work she's doing on our podcasts,
Mm, yeah,
and
really.
thank you, Anne, for being here today. And
Thank you,
happy
Tami.
Mother's Day to you.
And happy Mother's Day to you. Yeah, and I look forward really to keep working with you on this beautiful project.
May all beings be happy and free.
Yeah, definitely.